Hello, I'm Pamela Davis. Welcome to episode 99 of the Well Done Life podcast. Hello, and welcome back to episode 99 of the Well Done Life podcast. I'm your host, Pamela Davis. If you are new here, hey, welcome. I'm so glad that you could join us this week. If you've been here before, you guys know the deal. I love you deep. I continue to appreciate all of the support that you give me. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Before we'd like to dive into this week's topic, I always like to make sure that I am setting this foundation right. I really want to make sure I'm being extremely intentional, and I want to make sure that I am letting you know that this space, this safe space that we are creating, is built on clarity and love. So with clarity, it's pretty straightforward. I just really want to make sure you understand, why you're here. The Well Done Life podcast is a space that I created for women. I created this space now going into our second year for women to be able to be authentic and to be vulnerable, where we can share our stories, the good, the bad, and the ugly, and create an opportunity where we may be able to learn from each other and encourage each other. Women are the foundation of society, and we need spaces where we can just be so that we can really be imparted into and serve in the capacities that we have before us. So welcome to this safe space. And then the most other important thing that we will be building this safe space on is love. Love is the thing, and it is one of the most important things that we will have here in this space. And I like to make sure that you know that you're loved by sending you prayers. It's crazy out here. It's just getting crazier. And I like to make sure that you know that you are thought of and cared for and prayed for. So I want to make sure that I am sending each and every one of you prayers of peace this week. I want to send you prayers of peace and prosperity, prayers of hope, prayers of love. I want you to feel love down from the top of your head to the bottom of your feet. I want you to know that you are encouraged in all that you do. And I just pray for health, mental and physical, because yes, the streets are nuts and things can get very overwhelming, and we're all trying to live our best lives in spite of being still in a pandemic. I don't really think we're done with the panini or the pandemic just yet, but I'm hopeful that maybe we're getting to a phase where we learn, I hate to say it, how to live with it and how to be considerate of each other. But I don't know. I think that's still up in the air, but I am definitely sending prayers of peace and hope and health and love and prosperity to each and every single one of you. So we're building this on a really solid ground. So this week, I'm really excited. I am really happy that I am coming into this off of last week's episode. If you haven't gotten a chance to check out Closing Chapters, by the time you guys hear this, I will have actually already passed my birthday and actually our podiversary, which I'm also going to talk a little bit about too. So this is like a really pivotal time, but it just feels really good to be in this space of clarity and to be in this space of transition, especially recording this on Tuesday, 2/22/22. It is very special to me. It really feels like everything is just in alignment. It's simply magical. And I hope today on 2/22/22, even though you will be listening to this on 2/27/22, I hope that on 2/22/22 that you are able to do something extra intentional for yourself. I really do hope that you got a chance to be able to carve out some time for you to pour into yourself, to pray, to believe for all the things that you really want to aspire, because this is a time of pure manifestation. And moments like this don't occur often. There will never be another moment like this. So I wanted to make sure that you are taking advantage of it. So I'm very praying great things for you. And so like I was saying, this is a super intentional time. And with this being such an intentional time and coming off of, like I said, last week's episode, Closing Chapters, where I talked about my transition as I am preparing for chapter 49 and how I think we all have to look at our lives at certain points and think about the things that we want to leave behind as we age. Because as we age, we continue to evolve. And there's just so much opportunity for us to just live the life that we have aspired to live, that we know that there are certain things that we just have to stop doing so that we can be free to be our best selves. So I wanted to kind of flip it this week and talk about it as it relates to manifesting in regards to this podcast and how you can't stop doing when it comes to your goals and how you have to look at how you want to manifest. Because I know that this month's theme has been about love on all levels, and this ties into it. So don't think that we're taking a break. This is a love about love as well. This is about a very special kind of love. And I couldn't think of a better way to end this theme than talking about the love of pursuing our goals, because that's part of it. And believe it or not, yes, pursuing our goals takes love, because when you're pursuing your goals, you got to think about it. That's one of the most important and challenging relationships that you are ever going to be in. And let me say that again. When you are pursuing your goals, you have to realize that you are entering in to one of the most important and challenging relationships that you will ever be in. I mean, it's amazing, if I think about it, how many tears we'll shed about pursuing our goals. How many times we'll break up with the goal because we're just not sure if it's right for us, or, we get our own fears and doubts into it. And we just back away from what's for us. Or we don't talk about how many times we'll try out different things until we find our, air quotes, right fit. I mean, if you think about it, pursuing your goals is a true labor of love. And so when I thought about, again, how I wanted to end this month, and I think about the time that I'm in, where I'm about to enter into the second anniversary of this podcast, it hit me like a ton of bricks that is exactly how I feel about this podcast. I mean, starting the Well Done Life, just full transparency, has been one of the most rewarding and stressful things I have truly ever done. And I know I've said it before, but I mean, this podcast, this journey, if I really am 100% candid about it, it's been about 10 years in the making. Yep. I mean, it really took me about 10 years to get to the point when I could even just start the podcast. And during that time, it wasn't like I wasn't chasing it. I was, but I'm going to be honest, I was chasing it in the wrong way. I mean, I cannot count the amount of dollars that I spent trying to produce something that at that time would just pale in comparison to what this has become. Because you see, like many people, I allowed like different coaches, different website designers, different people, etc., to tell me my dream before I even knew what it was. And you see, I was just operating on this desire to be able to do this. And I knew that I had this vision planted inside of me, but I hadn't really tried to cultivate the relationship. And so I was just like, pushing on through, but it was like, I guess you could say, I forgot that I needed to court my goal. And when I'm talking about court, I mean, that's when you are, if you think about it from a relational standpoint, that's the time where you are really getting to know your goal or the person that you're courting with. That's where there's lots of conversation. One of my favorite things, actually, just kind of dipping into love just a little bit is, and I'm probably dating myself by saying this because I don't know if people still do this, but I used to love when you would spend hours on the telephone and it was like at the end, it's like you hang up. No, you hang up. No, you hang up, because you just are enjoying each other's company so much. I kind of forgot to do that in relation to my goal, because I was letting other people kind of feed into me what they thought it was without actually being clear about what I wanted and communicating that and kind of listing out what I envisioned my dream to be. Because, again, it's all about, at that point for me, it was trying to get to the next level without really knowing it. And you can't rush the process when you're setting your goals. I mean, you got to take the time. That's where you have to be in that courting phase, and I'm doing the air quotes, so that you can make sure you have a clear understanding of what you want to accomplish and what you expect it to be. And it doesn't mean that it might not shift in and alter, but you at least have to have somewhat of a plan. And see, I wasn't doing that. So I lost sight of that. And I think a lot of people sometimes do lose sight of that when you're in your goal phase. And that's why I kind of said that this is a relationship, because if you think about it, when you are setting up your goals, you are making a commitment to this. And see, if you don't have a clear understanding of what you want, you can't make the commitment necessary to clearly see it through. And that was my struggle when I first started the Well Done Life. I didn't really have a clear vision. I hadn't written it down and made it plain. Like I said, I was letting other people feed me versus me trying to be clear about what I wanted out of this, how I was going to go about it, and make the commitment to pursuing it all the way through. And that's key. I mean, let's be honest. That's key on the journey to finding your goals. That's key in relationships. You have to get clear about what you want in order to accomplish, and then make sure you have the commitment to achieving it. So are you kind of seeing the connection to a relationship yet? If not, don't worry about it. We'll get there. Because you see, like I said, I wasn't initially, when I think about this 10 years ago, operating in the spirit of commitment. I literally was letting someone else feed me my dream. But you see, on February the 2nd, 2020, I finally was ready to make the commitment. I made the commitment at that time that I wanted to start the podcast and sharing my goal of creating a safe space for women. I got a little bit clearer, and I really do attribute it to, thank goodness, to having a good friend, my friend Katie, who really kind of helped me reset and challenged me when I needed to be challenged, to help me get clear. But let me tell you, when I first started on February the 2nd, 2020, it was definitely a messy beginning. I was committed. But I have to admit, if I'm, again, being fully transparent about how I started this, I was treating the podcast like a side boo. And I know that probably sounds funny or maybe a little crazy, but yeah, I was treating it like a side boo because, I was building the relationship on the quiet. And again, when people have those side relationships, that's what they do. They're just keeping it on the low. And that's what I was doing with this. I wasn't confident about what I wanted or really what I could commit to at that point. So I was keeping it on the low. I was recording secretly for a few weeks until I was ready to really go official. That's why I was like, the podcast was like my side boo. I just wasn't ready to introduce her or him to the world yet because I wasn't 100% sure of what I wanted this relationship to be. Now, I'm sure that helps kind of maybe see a little bit more of the relationship correlation. But again, like I said, that will come. But like I mentioned, I was very lucky. I had one of my friends, Katie, she was pushing me to make it live. And she and I both agreed that we would go live on 225. And when we went live on 225, I was so afraid. I was so nervous and nerve-wracked behind it. That was actually a day we were getting ready to go on a group trip too for my birthday, because 225 is the anniversary of the podcast, but it's also my birthday. And I was just like, I got to get this set up. And it just felt like nothing was going right. Like I couldn't get everything live. It just was so many different things and emotions going through my mind, but it went live. And in that moment, I realized that this was one of the most rewarding things that I have ever done. I mean, I just felt like I had released something inside of me that I had been wanting to accomplish for so long. And it just felt right. And so I did it. And it just was amazing to me. But when I did it, it really made me think about, why it took me so long to push through. And being full honest again, because it's what we do here, for me, I've always kind of had an issue with commitment when it comes to my goals. I don't have an issue with commitment when it comes to relationships, but definitely when it comes to my goals, it gets tricky. And I think especially for me, it gets really tricky when it comes to balancing life and pursuing my dreams. Because, it's like I get distracted very, very easily. And I had in those 10 years before, when I had been trying to start and letting other people feed into me what they thought my vision was, I was trying to figure out how to balance life. And I was struggling. I really was. I was in a totally different mindset at that point in time. And I was just looking for something to validate me and to give me an opportunity to feel in control, versus recognizing that this goal was something that was in my heart, and that this dream was something that I would come to love to do. I wasn't at that point. I was literally like, I don't know how I'm gonna do this, at the same time trying to work, balance everything with my home life and do this. But it's funny, when I made the decision to do it on 2/25/20, it was different. I think what was different was because when I was treating the podcast like a side boo, that allowed me the time that I needed to fall in love with podcasting. Like I said, I was treating her like a side boo, but we were spending time together. We were getting to know each other. And I fell in love with it. I fell in love with the platform. I fell in love with all of it because it allowed me to find my footing. And like I said, I've been hooked ever since. And sometimes I think that we need to remember that it's okay to keep things that we love to ourselves. Like I said, I called it a side boo, but sometimes it's you're guarding a part of your heart. You're guarding one of the most valuable things to you, because you want to make sure that you're not going to let the world come in and alter your perception or alter your dreams. Because let's be honest, that happens a lot. And it's not to say that happened in my case. I felt like most of my friends were extremely supportive about it. Even if they didn't all the way understand what I was trying to accomplish, they still were, for the most part, supportive. I think for me, what it was is that I had to learn how to tune that out and tune into what I wanted this to be and what I envisioned, and recognize that it really is not about the outside at this point. It's about me falling in love with this so that I would be willing to do the work necessary in order to keep this thing thriving, to see this dream come to pass. And I think a lot of us have to understand that it is okay if we keep some things to ourselves, because you're not trying to hide it. It's just trying to make sure that you are giving yourself space to allow your dream to be built on solid ground. Because when you jump in too quickly, sometimes you can discover if it wasn't built on solid ground, it can't withstand the challenges of life. And you need to make sure that you are equipped and invested to be able to handle the challenges of life as you are on this dream to cultivate to build your dream. You got to, because that's the one thing that I don't think we talk about a lot when we are setting goals and putting our dreams out and building them. And I definitely think, when I'm looking back on how I set this podcast up, that was one of the things that I struggled with too, because like I said, challenges of life. Life is going to life. That's what it is. I mean, simply put, life is going to present challenges that you have to decide to move past. And that doesn't mean that with the challenges that you're going to face won't hurt. And it doesn't mean that some of them will not be life-changing. I mean, my goodness, the things that you will encounter can rock you to your core. But that doesn't mean that your dream has to die because you are delayed. Because your dream, your goal is rooted in your heart and your soul. And so that by giving yourself space to deal with life and to move through those challenges, but still come back to your dream, means that you are committed to this. because that is the most important thing when you are setting up your goals, when you are setting up your dreams. You have to be prepared to work through the challenges, because it all sounds so great when you're doing the vision boards and lining out the papers and, making sure all the energy is right. And those are all important aspects of putting the plan together. But at the same time, in the back of your mind, you need to make sure that this is rooted in your heart and your soul, and that you realize that creating this and executing this is an act of love. So that means that you will always come back to it because it's a part of you. No matter what comes in, no matter what distractions, no matter what delays, you will always come back to it because it's a part of you. That's where the commitment comes in. That's why you're committed to this love, because you recognize that this is about you. And that's really important, because I cannot stress that enough as we are trying to move into these phases of life where we really want to, achieve all the things. You can achieve all the things, but just make sure that the things that you are striving for, the things that you are putting your energy towards, those are the things that are rooted within your heart and soul. Because if I think about it, the Well Done Life podcast, this is a labor of love for me. I mean, I'm committed to this love. I really am. And I mean, it's like I said, it's 2:22 and I'm looking at my clock. It's 8:53 p.m. and I couldn't think of not recording. And it's not that I don't have other things going on. I do. I prioritize my family, my job, all those things in. But I make space for this because this is a labor of love. And I am so committed to this love, and I'm going to nurture this love and watch this love grow, that I will make sure that I make time for it. And if you think about how that even applies back to relationships, because, again, love on all levels, you have to think about the fact that when you're in love, when someone loves you, they will move heaven and earth to make time for you. You will never have to guess. You will never have to wonder. No matter what they have going on, they will carve out some time so that they can invest in you. Because giving something time is the greatest act of love that you can give. And that is something that is irreplaceable. So always remember that. You will always carve out time. So yes, this is like a labor of love for me. And I'm always very willing to grow with this love. I'm always looking to stay open to the things that I'm learning along the way, because I've learned that when I do this, it expands me. The people that I have met doing this have expanded me. I have learned so much from all of my guests and from my interactions with you guys. And I just feel so blessed to be able to have those opportunities. And that's when I know even more that the love is real, because real love expands you. And that's another thing. When you are on the journey to achieving your goals and you have realized that this goal that you are pursuing, this dream that you are pursuing is real, always be open to expanding. Because no one knows it all. And when you expand yourself, you allow yourself to grow. You allow yourself to change. You allow yourself to recognize that there's still pliable room in here where it could get better. You might be able to execute and deploy a little bit differently. And that's important. Because I'm going to say it. I mean, my first podcast episode sounds super different from this one. Believe me. I only hope to get better even now thinking about it here. And I'm at my 99th episode. I strive to look at ways that I can get better and do things that I can improve my content and make sure it's continue to be important and vital to you and other people. I want it to be that way because I can't wait to share more with you. For me, this love, this relationship that we are on is about growth and elevation. Because again, that's what real love is all about. Because, we've all said that, when we're in relationships with people, we're looking for relationships that make us better. We're not looking for relationships that make us work and make us worse. We're looking for relationships that pull us and expand us and grow us. And we are able to do amazing things together. That's how I feel about this podcast. And that's why I'm so proud of my baby, or better yet, my toddler now. I can't believe she's 2. We're about to go through the terrible 2s. So for me, that just means that we're just about to just wreck stuff up in 2022 and do some amazing things. And I do have some really cool things coming, and I'm very excited about that. But it has truly, like I said, been a labor of love. And I want you to have those labors of love when you are thinking about your goals and your dreams. Don't give up on those things. Keep pushing yourself to be better, to do better, to learn more, to grow more, because there is just so many things left for you to accomplish. It's all about just kind of checking yourself to make sure that your dream is rooted in the right thing. And if it's rooted in your heart and your soul, there is truly nothing that you can't do. And you can overcome any challenge or delay that comes your way. Because I feel like when you get to those points, that's when you recognize that really the sky is the limit from there. I mean, really, because when you do that, you're opening yourself up to continuously learning and growing. And that's what you want. You want to be able to take the limits off so that you can just do all the things that you ever aspire to do. And it won't feel like work. It'll be a pleasure because you're motivated, you're inspired, you're encouraged. And that's the kind of way that I feel when I think about this podcast. I'm just so grateful when I look at it for all of the support and encouragement that all of you have given me on this journey. And it's so motivating. I mean, I'm just going to be honest. You guys are the lids to my pot, and I am truly thankful for you. Because I think that you have to have that support sometimes. You do, especially when you're putting your dreams out in the world. It feels so nice to deal with the lids who understand your pot, they get you. Because you're not going to be, everybody's lid is not going to fit your pot, and you're going to have to be okay with that. And there's always going to be people who don't understand what you're trying to do, and that's okay. The best thing that I can say as you are thinking about this, make sure that you focus on those people, just the lids who fit your pot. You can't, because again, you cannot worry about the people that don't get it. That's okay. Don't focus on that. And don't let their perception stop you from your goals or your dreams, because I think that that's one thing that a lot of us have to be really cautious of. And like I said, in my 10-year journey, trying to figure it out, I was very blessed. I felt like most of my friends, for the most part, totally supported me, even though they might not have understood that direction. But even if they didn't support me, I still would have probably kept going. But I think my misstep would have come in if I had focused so much on their opinion versus focusing on my own. So for you, you have to make sure that you are focusing on your opinion, focusing on the people that can understand what you're trying to do, focus on the people who support you. Because there is a saying that I love to say, and you've probably heard me say it before or heard other people say this, but everybody can't be in the birthing chamber when you're manifesting your dream. And what that means is essentially everybody is just not going to be able to understand what you are trying to create. And everybody can't give their energy in it. They can't be in the room, because you know that when you are bringing forth this dream, this goal, you have to keep your energy so positive. You got to keep your focus so straight. You can't afford to be distracted. And you have to understand that everybody is not included in your dream, because if there was, it'd be their dream, but it's not. This is about you. So you have to make the decision to focus on what you need and focus on those that kind of feed and encourage that need. It's not about trying to kiss your ass, because you don't need that. You need people who understand and support and want to see you elevate and grow. And believe me, your discernment will tell you what's real and what's fake. But just trust yourself and fall in love with your goals and your dreams. Because I can clearly say I have fallen in love with this podcast. It is easily one of my favorite things to do. Doing this doesn't feel like work. if I feel free actually when I do this. And I'm just, again, so encouraged and inspired by you guys and your continued support of me. And it just makes me want to be better and do better. So I have to thank you. And as I enter into this second year, I can only tell you that I strive to get stronger, and I just strive to continue to grow. I'm so excited about what we've been able to accomplish in 2 years. I'm so excited about the people that I've gotten a chance to connect with in 2 years. I can only imagine what will happen. And then we're about to be in triple digits. Like 100 episodes is coming. I can't even believe that. I mean, it's amazing to me because when I first started, I was like, okay, well, let me throw out these cool I think I threw out a cool 5 when I started. Let me see how these go, were my thoughts. And if I can make it past that, great. But once I got into it and I started getting feedback and encouragement, it just flew by. And now I'm sitting here at 99, about to hit 100 and 2 years in. I'm so excited. I'm so blessed. I'm so grateful. I never thought that that could be that way. I want you to understand that that can be you as it relates to your goals. It's just all about the start. And it doesn't matter if you have a messy start, you just need to start and fall in love with it. Fall in love with it. Be open to it. You are equipped to be able to do this. And I want to make sure that you experience that because there is magic inside of you. If you have been given a gift, a seed of some dream that you need to cultivate and bring to life, that gift doesn't go away because you have decided that, you might not be ready. You just delay it a little bit and you're going to wind up possibly like me waiting 10 years to get it out. But when the timing is right, and if you feel like the timing is right, why not start? What are you waiting for? There's space out here for all of us. Don't ever feel like something's oversaturated. You don't know what you bring to the table versus what somebody else does. You have to go out here and try it out and see how it goes. So I look forward to seeing each of you create something wonderful and magical out here. Because the world needs you. We need you. And I definitely will be one of your biggest cheerleaders. So please, always in the show notes, tag me, email me, do whatever. Let me know so I can hype you up because I want to support. I want to see all these dreams come to life. This is our time, y'all. We have to step into it and do wonderfully amazing things. So that's it. That is this week's episode. I want to thank you guys so much for your continued support and encouragement. I hope I gave you some encouragement today to start your dreams, like I was saying, because I believe that we all have an opportunity to win. And there's no time like the present. The world is changing so dramatically that I feel like it's a time for us to cultivate what we want, because life is moving through so quickly and we don't have time to waste. So let's go ahead and build some of these dreams and bring some of these loves to life. So again, thank you for your continued support. I will make sure that I have all of my information in the show notes. Please don't hesitate to reach out to me on social media. Send me an email, put reviews. We definitely love reviews about how the content is going. Let me know what you think. I am really open to growing and learning, and I plan on doing some new things coming up with the podcast. So I definitely want to have your support and encouragement along the way. And I want to thank you for 2 years. I look forward to even more. 100 is next week. I'm very excited about that. And it is going to be the start of a limitless season for us. And we are going into a new month. So that means a new theme. And next month's content is going to be around just kind of self-check-ins and celebrations. Because if you think about it, March is the last month of Q1 2022. So I want us to kind of start preparing ourselves to think of the intentions that we have set. How are we doing with those intentions? What do we maybe need to make adjustments as we're going into Q2? How are we feeling mentally and physically? Just checking in with ourselves overall. So that content will be around that. And I am really excited about what I want to present to you and what we're going to talk to. We have lots of great things coming up. So I want to again thank you for your support and your encouragement. All the information will be in the show notes, as well as I will also make sure I link last week's episode closing chapters if you haven't had a chance to look at it. I mean, check it out. Listen to it. See, I'm already manifesting video. Lord, that's coming. Not yet, but it is coming. So I will have all of that link in the show notes. I will be back next week for 100, definitely no delay. And I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of the weekend, and I will talk to you soon. Take care of yourselves and each other. Bye-bye.